I get asked quite a lot, or used to get asked quite a lot actually. Most people ask me about my pens and stuff nowadays. But sometimes, every so often, somebody will say to me, what paint do you use? And I have a think for a minute and think, actually, I've been using the same paint for like 20 odd years now. So I thought I'd do a quick video on it. It will be a very quick video as well. You'll see why. So, so first of all, let's talk about paint. And I very handily got a little scrap can to show you here. This, if you haven't come across it before, is Montana Gold. It's great paint, really good paint. It's a semi-gloss paint, low pressure can. It's fantastic paint. It's really good. Of all the paint I use, it's probably the most expensive, but it is super quality paint. That's the first one that I use. There you go. Next one up is, this is MTN 94. A lot of character artists use this, and obviously I'm a character artist, so I use it again. It's a low pressure can. This one though is a matte finish, unlike this, which is a semi-gloss. With this one you get a nice matte finish. You can mix it up, there's no problem, you know, bit of gloss, bit of, well, in my opinion, a bit of gloss with a bit of matte is not a problem. Some people are more purist than that. They don't want to mix gloss and matte, or they want to do it in a very specific way. Personally, I don't care. And don't forget, this is graffiti. We make the rules up as we go. So there you go. I'll happily use them together. Next one up is this one. Belton Molotov Premium. It's great paint, this. Really, really great paint. What to say about this, really? Just fantastic paint. It's like a great universal paint, this. Anybody can use this, from your train writer to your production wall professional, to your chucking up throwies all over the place. Anybody and everybody uses this. It is great paint. I've got lots of it brand new in boxes here, which is why this one is new, and these are scraps, because I haven't, a lot of the time I don't buy lots of new paint. I've got like lots of half-filled cans everywhere, which we call scrap cans, and they kick about. The great thing about that, of course, talking about pressure, I didn't talk about pressure, did I? Did I? No, I didn't. So this one is slightly different, because this is, so I've got low pressure, low pressure. This is what's called dual pressure, which means it's, I've never quite understood the pressure valve of Belton, to be honest. And again, it's not an academic thing. You've got to use it to understand how to use it. But with the right cap on, you can blow huge lines with this. And you can also get nice skinny lines. But I wouldn't go for really skinny lines with this. I'd use this, or maybe this. And I would use it, this is what I was about to say, I'd use it when the can is nearly all used up as well. When most of the propellant is gone, then you've got lower pressure anyway. So your low pressure can goes to very low pressure when you've got that much paint left in it. Okay, I was going to make this systematic, but of course I've gone all over the place like I always do. Let's get to caps, because caps are something that I talk about a lot. I only use two different types, really. Actually, the most important thing to say is that sometimes I've literally been handed cans when I've been on the wall. Somebody's handed me a can. I haven't even looked at what the cap is. What I do is I quickly have a tease of it. Then I do a line with it somewhere. Do a few lines with it. Full pressure, half pressure. And then that's it. I don't care what it is. But that's because I've been doing it for 30 odd years. If you haven't been doing it for 30 odd years, then I suggest you're very, very careful about what caps you use. So over to what I normally use. Now, if I want a nice fat line, I use this one. This is a pink dot. And these ones are made by Molotov, and that will go on anything. I use that on all of them, no problem, no bother at all. That's an ultra skinny. Some of you will recognize these, obviously. This is an ultra skinny that's made by Montana. It goes best on there, but it will go on there, and it will even go on there. And that, like like the name implies, you get ultra skinny lines. And when the pressure gets very low, you can get ridiculously skinny lines with that. Not that I particularly use ridiculously skinny lines on anything I do, but as a character artist, this is where I concentrate. After I've done fills, I mean, I even do fills with that sometimes, just because sometimes it's a tight fill. So I do a tight fill with that, and I can flare with that as well, and then I can outline with that and do details with that. So it, you know, cut with that, do everything with it, no problem. If you get a writer like Saturno, somebody once told me that Saturno uses that for everything, because the better you get, you'll be able to use anything. This largely becomes an academic exercise about what cap you're going to use. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Honestly, trust me. Those of you who do this already know this, which is you can have, well, watch what's his name, Bray, Helio Bray. Watch him on his videos. He'll use an Astro sometimes, or big fat caps, and he'll do the most amazing variation of line, because the better you get, the more you can do that. So it's not just about, you know, what cap you've got, but if you really need a helping hand, that's an ultra skinny. If you need nice skinny lines, make sure your can's nice and low pressure, got plenty of paint emptied out of it, and you will get some thin lines, I promise you. You know, keep the can nice close to the wall, keep practicing, you will get skinny lines. So there's a lot of stuff talked about paint in graffiti circles. There's loads of different paint available. I only use this. This is it. I don't use anything else, because why would I? As soon as you know what you can do, and you can do it with that paint, then that's it. You've got your paint. You don't need to investigate, you know, 100 different brands. It's not important. After that, it's really just about price as well. Although I would say, the cheaper you get, I'm about to generalise here, but the cheaper you get, the cheaper the paint quality will be. I won't name brands, but there are brands where the paint colour fades. Now that doesn't matter if you're doing work that's been gone over really quickly. It doesn't matter if your paint fades. Who cares? If you're chucking something on the side of a train or a wall, or something that's not designed to stay there for years, who cares if the paint fades? You know, it's going to be gone over or buffed before it's faded anyway. Who cares? But if you're doing production wall or something, you don't really want the colours to fade. Even those guys who do, people like Giza, who do big old freights and stuff that roll through different states in America for 2 years or whatever and stay up, they don't really want their paint to fade either. They want their pieces to look as good as when they did them. So there's no getting around it. The more you spend on paint, the better the paint is. Now, this is the paint that's available to us in Europe as well. So I'm saying that, obviously, you know, if you're in the States, it's going to be different. If you're in China, I know Azerox probably have something to say about paint. He paints a lot, uses different kinds of paint. But this is what I use here in Europe, and these two caps. So what I would say is, as well, keep it simple. Keep it simple. You don't need to, I mean, I've never understood that thing about having loads of different paint brands, having to keep track of what caps you've got and all that sort of stuff. You want to get so that it doesn't really matter very much. I mean, yes, you've got a fat one, you've got a skinny one. Keep it simple for yourself. Because honestly, it's the same as anything else, same as art materials, everything. There are most amazing artists who can create incredible art with biros, you know, with ballpoint pens. And there are artists who can, you know, you just, like the Mac was a great one, you know, just get a can of paint, any can of paint, stick a fat cap on it, and that's it. He's away. He'll do a piece. He won't, you know, it doesn't even need to change the colour sometimes. That's what great artists can do. So don't get too hung up about any of this stuff. Concentrate on getting really good at your technique. And I hesitate to say that because I always say that thing about technique, which is technique is no substitute for style. But you've got to learn technique, otherwise you can't convey your style. You can't carry your style. So that's all I've got to say about paint, really. If you've got any questions, fire them in the comments. I always like to hear them. And yeah, get out there, get painting.